ibiri kambiri, onyazo no wazo, uwaga baso nyobuna. Ibiri baby ibiri kambiri, ibiri baby, onyazo no wazo, uwaga baso ibiri baby ibiri kambiri, ibiri kambiri, onyazo no wazo, uwaga baso nyobuna. Ibiri baby
Bielsa's home for timeless hits.
I'm on available
97.5 Golden FM. From the Niger Delta to the world, we set the standard. 97.5 Golden FM.
Okay, beautiful afternoon, rainy day, sunny day, mixed together. You know, the weather in Bielsa State. Of course, this is not Osman Man's voice. You know, about this time, the pigeon man comes in, and of course, the tallest man in the building comes in to do his thing. But, you know, we got a VIP in match, and August visitor coming in match. You know, we saw him on the streets of Yenagoa, and we decided to kidnap him, not for ransom, but to come and talk to us, because he's always, running away from us anytime he's in town. But today, we are lucky, the soap we take about this morning was a very good one, so we're lucky. And in the studios, our August visitor is a man that's been around for a very long time. And of course, he represents the federal government as well of Nigeria. He's in town today, and we're lucky to have him. All right, we have the Honorable Minister for Petroleum Resources, Oil and Gas State, Senator Anikin Lopolbury. All right, we have a guy in the building. It's a pleasure having you, sir. I once told someone that I wish I had your kind of voice. I listened to your voice, like, oh, guy has a good voice. So how come a guy didn't go into broadcasting?
Thank you. That wasn't my calling. Everybody has his own calling. So
yeah, a few hours ago I was listening to you when you said you were a lawyer, but your dad insisted that you go into politics. So how did you change? How was that? The changing from being a lawyer into politics.
Well, I can say I'm an accidental politician. I had no ambition to be a politician. But, as Providence will have it, my father came to me one day to say, look, I wanted you, to be a politician. I want you to contest for local government council chairmanship of Ikirimo. And I said, no, I'm not interested. And he said, well, tomorrow morning I'll come to you, 5 a.m. I want to see whether you are the father or he is the father. And so, 5 a.m. my dad knocked at my window, and I had no choice than to obey him, and here I am today. And to God all the glory.
They say when you listen to your parents, good things definitely come through you.
Thank you.
All right, Honorable Minister, you're welcome. We know you're calling us and asking questions as well on the numbers 091-2000-1975, okay? Call those numbers 0707-747-1522. We don't have time, and we're going to go straight into asking Honorable Minister some questions. Now, let me start with this one, sir. The government has remained resolute in ensuring the success of the Host Communities Development Trust under the PIA. All right. And of course, why is this structure so critical, and how can stakeholders in the oil producing sector contribute to the success of the PIA?
Yeah, thank you very much. For a long time, the people of the oil producing region of Nigeria have been, craving for inclusion. And, the PIA of 2021 now provided as a starting point 3%, operating 3% of the operating costs, to be paid to host communities to enable them, do projects that are of importance to them. And so today was an occasion where people from host communities, provisions of the PIA, to enhance their own fortunes. And so I came to tell them that you have a stake, you have a 3% stake, for you to determine what projects you want to use them for. But this money is not money, to be, misappropriated. It's not money that any, community leader can put into his pocket. It has to be, something that will be used to finance development plan from different host communities. The procedure is that communities, will send in development, this is what we want to do for this year. And then as the money comes, the money is applied strictly, to those projects for the benefit of all of them. This is not money that will be used by one traditional ruler, for his personal aggrandizement. And today I came to say, look, the time has come for communities, to ensure that you protect these assets from which you get 3%. The time has come for communities to realize that in the midst of the global campaign against, continuation of the production of fossil fuel, in the midst of this energy transition, as it's been done by the global west, by the global north, it is important for them to know that this is the time for us to, get as many barrels as possible from the soil to the market. This is also the time for us to get as many cubic feet of gas as possible. Oil and gas has value only when you extract it from the sea or from the ground to the market. Otherwise, it has no value. You agree with me? These deposits have been with us for several decades. It hasn't translated to any value addition. Any pipeline up, you also lose revenue.
True.
And the volume of money you have will be dependent, on the volume of barrels you produce. There's more production in your area, you get more money. There's less production, you have less money. So you decide what you want to do. Do you want more money? Then let there be more production in your area. Maintain the peace, work with us, and ensure that we ramp up production.
And this 3% comes every month to these communities.
Any barrel that is sold, you come. It is paid, regularly.
So that means if the communities do well, our communities can be developed as fast as possible.
Yes, in fact, to shock you, and one of the most important points that I need to make here is that as of today, we have close to 300 billion naira in different HostCom accounts. But most of the host community, trust funds can't access this money because they are in court against themselves. And what I told them is that if with 3% you want to kill yourselves, if the money is increased, what's going to happen? I'm not against increasing the stake, but 3% is just the beginning. But if you cannot use the small 3%, even when they give you 20%, you can't use it. So the point is that the communities are advised to use alternative means of settling disputes. Communities should also know that the money you kept in the bank also has no value to your community. And so it's important for them, to bury whatever quarrels they have, and then ensure that that money that's already in the banks,
comes to them for development. About if the communities don't do well, if they get to blow the pipeline, just like sabotage on oil installations remains a major challenge in the Niger Delta. Under your leadership, what measures has the ministry implemented to address these issues, and how can Nigerians support the government in safeguarding vital infrastructures of oil?
You recall that when I became minister in August 2023, we were doing about 1 million barrels, inclusive of condensate. Today we are doing about 1.8 million barrels, inclusive of condensate. That is 80% growth only in oil. We don't even talk about the gas. The oil and gas in Nigeria is associated. The same pipeline produces gas and oil. And at some point in time, technology separates the gas from the oil. And if you have wells that have very high concentration of gas, what is produced is now called condensate because it will be very thin. We recall that whether somebody likes it or not, we made tremendous progress as far as oil production is concerned. And what is most important is that this also translates to more money to states on the ground of derivation, translates to more money to host communities, based on the volumes that have so far been produced. But this is made possible by, coordinating the security architecture, both, and then the civil and security, service providers of ramping up production.
Okay, sir. Now, there have been growing concerns about oil price disparities. Are there any government plans to address price fluctuations and make petroleum products more affordable to Nigerians?
Well, you will agree with me that, petroleum, particularly the downstream, is now deregulated. We recall that this is one problem that no president had the courage to address. But when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came, from the first day we're taking it out of office, he said, look, subsidy is gone. Today, price is finding its own level. Because it is deregulated. You cannot find, uniform prices anywhere. Last December I was in town, and I went around, and I saw that today what has happened is that NNPC is no more an importer. We have Dangote refinery, we have other modular refineries, we have the Port Harcourt refinery, we have the Warri refinery. We also have a lot of people who have also, capitalized on the deregulation policy to bring in products into the country. So what Nigeria, should expect is that this price will be dictated by circumstances and by the location you find yourself, at any material time. So price is not going to be fixed. There's no regulation about fixing prices, and so the price disparity is in line with market dynamics, and that is the real essence of deregulation.
Okay, sir. All right, remember that you can join us on this program this special afternoon. You can call us on the number 0912-1975 or 0707-747-1522. You can also send your WhatsApp messages in case you can call, or you can send a text message on 0805-327-7767. All right, 091-2000-1975, 0707-747-1522, and of course you can send text messages on 0805-327-7767. We've got a call. Hello, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Lodwin. Honestly, I greet. I don't know. I'm just a little. It doesn't really get bigger than this to have a minister in the studio. It's no small thing, honestly.
Thank you.
I greet the minister. Honestly, under his, a lot is changing. The refineries are up working. The production is increasing. There is product availability. Prices are also gradually coming down because of competition. So many good things, actually. So many good things. But the question I want to ask the minister is this crude for Naira deal with Dangote and all that. I don't know. We are hearing that the deal has been cancelled and it's no longer Naira, it's going to be dollar and all that. So I don't know. I want him to talk us through that because he's also helping, at least whether he likes it or not.
Okay. Why did you already ask that question, sir? Why didn't you just let him answer and other people can call?
No, there is a second one. Okay, that's one. There's two. I know he's a lawyer. He studied law, but so the question is, how is he managing? Because I can tell you he's doing well in that ministry. Being a lawyer, how is he managing? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. You recall that I did my master's in the UK. In petroleum and environmental law. I also have a doctorate degree in the UK on petroleum law. And so, although I've never worked in oil and gas sector, but when I was appointed, I have to provide the political leadership, for the ministry. So I'm finding it very easy. I've been minister before, and so my role is to ensure that I work with, the directors, the other, stakeholders in the industry, including heads of agencies, NMDPR, NUPRC, PTDF, other agencies in the, under the petroleum ministry, to provide the services for the benefit of Nigerians. That is one. Two, there is no truth as to, the story that the crude for Naira, has been cancelled. No, it has always been there, even before the memo, was taken to council. What is important is for Nigerians to know that That was a pilot scheme. It was a pilot scheme for Dangote to receive crude and pay in naira from NNPC alone. But before then, people have been buying crude, and be paying in naira, dependent on the agreement between the parties. So there's no truth that it has been cancelled. It has always been there. We just decided to say, okay, let there be a pilot scheme to see how NNPC can be selling crude, in naira to Dangote refinery. So any of the refiners, including Dangote, can continue to buy, crude and pay in naira at the prevailing official exchange rate.
Okay, sir. I was going to ask you something. Okay, before the call came in, the calls are actually coming in. They wouldn't allow me to ask questions, but I think I need to ask questions because you don't know when we'll see Oga again. This one we will catch you, maybe ask questions where you go ask. Now, as minister, you played a key role in ensuring Nigerians host the African Energy Bank, the largest financial institution for oil and gas sector in Africa. Why is this bank so important, and what impact will it have on Nigerians and industry players in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole?
Yeah, thank you very much. In this era of energy transition, where the global north are those who are wealthy countries, the global south, it's a new name for the poor countries. And so the global north is weaponizing financing against the global south. We have been told that under the Paris Agreement, we shouldn't produce, fossil fuel. But the Paris Agreement is very clear. The Paris Agreement was strictly about reduction of emissions. These emissions are basically, contributed by the global north. Between China and the USA, they contribute 55%. United Kingdom produces about 4.8%. The entire African continent produces only, or contributes only about 3%. So we're actually victims. So why tell Africa not to, produce when they are not stopping? They are not stopping. If you go to Norway, they are ramping up production. If you go to UK in fact give 100 new licenses for new exploration of fossil fuel in the North Sea. Whereas we have been asked to stop, they are financing their investments. And so what we did was to take our destiny in our own hands. The African Petroleum, Producers Organization, which is, an association of about 18 countries, came together to say, look, we have to collaborate with Afrexim Bank to see how we can form this African Energy Bank with headquarters in Nigeria. And at the end of the day, we'll be able to, get the financing that is needed to finance oil and gas. Africa's problem has to do more with energy poverty. If someone is asking you to transit, from one source of energy to another, you must have energy first. As of today, we don't have energy in Africa. We don't have energy in Nigeria. And so we have to use what we have to be able to raise the money needed to finance our energy mix. We are not against fossil fuel, production in a cleaner and greener way. That is the prescription of the PIA. But this bank is so fundamental because it will solve the financing problem that the West is using to, stifle African countries from financing oil and gas investment. But what is more important to Nigeria is that this bank, when it starts, will start with $5 billion of share capital. It will also be seeded the oil and gas investments in Afrexim Bank, which is also another $14 billion. So this bank starts with about $19 billion. That is almost half of our budget, if not more. $19 billion multiplied by $1,500 per dollar. That tells you the volume that this bank will bring into our own economy. So it's very important, to our economy. It's very important to the oil and gas sector. It will provide funding that is needed to finance oil and gas investments in Africa.
Okay, you can go to our social media platforms and watch live this. Let's take this call. I know I'm going to get flogged with this. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Say that again? Oh, sorry, I can't hear you. You need to call me back. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Frank. Calling from Yenagoa.
Okay, Frank, where in Yenagoa are you calling from?
Ogbogoro.
Ogbogoro. All right, Frank, let's make it very snappy. 60 seconds.
Yes. Concerning the PIZ bill that the minister talked about, he said the one that belongs to government is going to government, the one that belongs to the community is not to the community. Then I want to ask, why the one that belongs to the community that belongs to the community, stop at least the clan chief or the community chief should at least have a representative. So when that money should be shared to the communities direct, not to the bank again. So those who go to the job, that's what that I said. Thank you and God bless you, sir.
Okay, you need to know that, look, under the law, money is not meant to be shared to communities. Communities are setting up host communities trust funds. This fund is going to be controlled by our own community representatives. It's not controlled by government. What government does is ensure that what is due and payable to communities is paid to these communities. And so government has no hand in how you spend the money. But this money is not meant to be shared. It's meant to provide critical infrastructure that you need in a community for the benefit of all community people. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay, more calls are coming in. But let me ask this question, and maybe I can take one more because, is this one we kidnap my tell now? No be small kidnapping. Sir, on a broader scale, how can Bayelsens and Nigerians at large support your office in ensuring that the oil and gas sector drives economic prosperity for each and every one of us?
Well, the support I need from Bayelsa people, and indeed the entire Niger Delta, is to give us guaranteed peace, is to stop pipeline vandalization, is to stop illegal refining, is to stop the environmental degradation that's going on. It doesn't benefit anybody. I've always contended that, look, if you go to our communities, those who are responsible for these infractions are still poor people. They don't benefit anybody. And so today, by law, oil and gas belongs to the federal government. But the land and water resources where we fish and farm belong to the people. So if you destroy the ecosystem, if you destroy your land and water resources, you have immediate consequences that will affect you.
True.
And that is why in this era of PIA, where there's 3% provision for you, the host community, in addition to the 13% that comes to state for development, we should all know that we're all stakeholders in this industry. And because of the global campaign against fossil fuel production, if we do not produce now, if we do not maximize production today, these reserves will remain buried under the soil with no value to our lives.
Sir.
So the support I need from them is to sustain the peace that we're enjoying today.
To make us produce and get more money for our communities to develop. Many more. All my lines are buzzing at the same time. Many more. Hello, good afternoon, and this is the last call I'm taking. What a pity. What's your name and where are you calling me from? Calling us from, rather.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name and where are you calling from?
BB.
Okay, BB, welcome. You called back. Thank you. So your question.
I don't have serious question. I just want to thank the Honorable Minister. I've known him from when he was the Speaker of Bayelsa State. He has been a very good man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe you're laughing at me. Don't do that next time. You think I don't speak in John now, All right, sir. Your team are telling me that they have to go. They know they will strangle my neck now. It's been wonderful having you. We thank you for obliging us coming through. But before you go, away from business, let's have a little bit of fun. 60 seconds. You listen to music. Give us 3 songs you listen to every time.
Well, I listen to, traditional songs. I listen to Robert Bizimo. I listen to other, it's all songs.
Okay.
If you enter my car, there's no human music.
All right, it's a pleasure hosting you this afternoon. It's my pleasure and our pleasure at Golden FM. Thank you for obliging us. And one more word to everyone listening to you all over the world right now, because we are on Guardian Radio Guardian rather, where they can listen to you anywhere in the world. Our social platforms are up on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all over the world, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening to you right now. So one more word. I know it's going to be about petroleum and peace as well. So let's hear it from you.
Yeah, my parting, words for Bayelsans, Nigerians, and everybody is to say, look, we are on a trajectory of growth. We made tremendous progress. We are not where we want to be, but please work with us in this train. Work with us in this process to make Nigeria a better place. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu loves Nigeria, and that's why he's taking the bold steps, and the steps are paying. The economy is improving in every ramification, but nothing can be successful without sustainable peace.
Thank you very much, sir. It's our pleasure. I am grateful. We are grateful, and we hope we can actually grab you next time. We will set this kind of trap next time. So once you come, we just grab you two for a longer time. Remember that you can actually, watch over this interview on all our platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. You can watch it again later after this time, and of course get to see, listen to what Oga said. We need peace. We need everything to make sure that we have peace, and we need to have peace so that we can produce oil to help each and every community that we are in Bayelsa, so that we can develop. We need to develop. We need to have electricity, good roads, water especially. So please stop the vandalization, stop everything. Just make sure that we have